Okay. Oy l'chutz la'aretz. Taner Rabbanan Amecher Avdei l'chutz la'aretz yatsa l'chedes and tzach get shichem Rabbi Sheni. Someone who sells his servant to chutz la'aretz goes free, and you need to get shikhr from your second from your second master, from his second master. From Shimon Gamliel, Shimon Gamliel says sometimes you go free, sometimes he doesn't go free. Oh, I'm reading for the wrong place. I'm so sorry. 1 second.
Yes.
Oy. Rabbi Yochanan taught me. If you have a servant who went after his master to Syria, his master traveled to Syria and his servant came with him, and he sold him there. Rabbi, he goes free. Yeah. So if you have Syria's, Rashi says is Aram Tzoy, but it's considered a chutzlaretz. Even though in some matters it's considered like Eretz Yisrael, some matters chutzlaretz was conquered by David HaMelech before he conquered the rest of Eretz Yisrael, so it's considered like a kibush yochid. Even though he was yotze midas, even though the servant agreed to go along, and if the servant had protested, the rabbi couldn't have forced him to come with him. You can't take a slave out of Eretz Yisrael. Nevertheless, he'll go free. Why? Didn't Reb teach that the servant loses his schus because he wasn't meicha, because he didn't protest? So why all of a sudden we say, so how can we say that how could Rabbi Yochanan say that lo yibid schusay and he does go free? If he goes out and he knows his rabbi is considered is having in mind to come back, so then the rabbi loses out and he's going to go free. But if in the rabbi lachzer and he agreed to go, then he ibid his schus, he loses his schus. But Tanya, like it says in the Brisa, it says that a master is yoytze, goes after his rabbi l'surya. The question is, what do you mean yoytze? Yoytze le'sagid l'nofik, you're not allowed to. Yoytze, not only that, you're not even allowed to take him out. You can't take your of them out. Rather, we have to change it instead of yoytze that he must go out. Yotze, if he did go out, and his rabbi sold him there. If rabbi was planning on coming back, so then we force him to free him because the Eved was relying on coming back to Eretz Yisrael. But if rabbi does not want to come back, we don't force him. We learn from Mar Shmuel 2 things. One of them is this din, that if you sell an Eved l'chutzlaretz, it depends on what Das Rabbi was when he was leaving. What does a rabbi had in mind to do when he was leaving? The other one, the Itmar, it says, someone who sells his field during the year of Yovel. Someone who sells his field during the year of Yovel. Rav says it's considered sold. V'yoitzo, and right away it comes back l'baylim, and he loses his money. The guy's lost his money.
You mean he sells his field in Eretz Yisrael
during the year of Yovel? So Rav says it's sold, and the guy loses his money, and he gets it right back. The guy gets his field right back. Foolish guy. Shmuel says it's not sold. You can't sell a field. You can't sell a field during Yovel.
I thought you were allowed to sell your field in Eretz Yisrael so that you get around the laws of Shmita if it's owned by a goy, right?
No, we're talking about you sold your field to Yid during Yovel.
Oh,
and you lose the sale. The guy loses the sale. He has to return the field right away, but he loses his money.
Who loses the money? The one that bought it, the purchaser, or who loses the money? Is it the purchaser?
Oh, so the question is like this: And one of them he loses his money, the other one he doesn't lose his money. So the question is, which one?
Oh,
So Rav Yosef explains what exactly is going on here. Because we have two dinim that we spoke about. One is if you sell your Eved b'chutz la'aretz, he goes free. The other one is if you sell your field during Yovel. So in which one do you lose your money? Rav Yosef, let us see. So the fact that it says in the Brayso, he goes free, and you need a get shikhr from your second rabbi. Shmamina kanya rabbi sheni v'loi hadrei zvine. Says that you need a get shikhr from your second rabbi. That means he acquired it, and you don't get the sale, but you don't get the money back. But in the case of selling the field, that's a different story. There's no sale whatsoever, so the money will come back. But Ravanan Brayso Lishmiele, Ravanan, he didn't know. It's obvious. He didn't hear the Brayso.
well, the Yovel is different from the Shemitah, I guess, because in the Yovel, I think it says in the Torah that all the land goes back to the owners, right?
Right.
Yeah, I'm getting it mixed up with Shemitah every 7 years.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I think they do in some cases in Shemitah year, they'll sell it to Goy.
Oh, you're talking about Heter Mechira.
Yes, Heter Mechira, yes. But I don't know. I haven't.
So the Gemara asks, we're on Daf Mem Hey Amud Aleph. The Shmuel, if you're saying that we should answer from Shmuel, that Shmuel says that it's not sold at all. So that should be enough. That we should know that in the case of the Yovel, the money doesn't lose the money. How do you know he meant to say in the money comes back? Maybe we'll say it's not sold, but the money will be a gift. Midi to have a Makadosh. For example, if someone is Makadosh's sister, the Itmar was stated a Makadosh Rav Amar Mois Chayzen, Ushmuel Omar Mos Matana. Rav says the money comes back, and Shmuel says the money is a gift. A person knows that you can't be Makadosh your sister. You can't betroth your sister. However, Shmuel says the money is a gift. You lose the money. When he sells the Eved, why are you being kindness the buyer? That he's paid the money and he's losing the slave. We should be give a knas. We should find the person sold. It's a very interesting concept. It's not the mouse that steals; it's the hole. The hole that the mouse puts his stuff.
Oh.
So if not for the mouse, where does the hole get the stuff? The mouse brought it in. Where the Isser is, which is the Eved, there's the Knas. Knas is where the Eved is.
It says each of them is deserving of being penalized. That's what Steinsaltz says. That's each one, because they both contribute to the prohibited act.
Yeah. There was a slave who ran away from Chutz La'aretz to Eretz Yisrael. His master came after him. He went in front of Rav Ami. So he wanted to get his slave back, and he ran away to Eretz Yisrael. So he went to Rav Ami. Right. The Eved owes you his value, but you have to write him a get shikhr. You have to give him free. You have to set him free.
Oh.
If you're not going to set him free, I will set him free by force, and you're not going to get anything. Here, at least he's going to owe you his value. I'll just set him free by force. The Tanya, it says in the Brayso, it says the Shiva Uma shouldn't sit in Eretz Yisrael, because it might make you sin. Maybe we're talking about a ger toish of somebody who accepted that he's not going to serve Avodah Zarah. says you should not. Don't take him out. Don't take an Eved back to Adonai. My takanosa imcha yeshabikirbacha will sit among you. The Kashale Rabbi Yosef. Yesh had a question. Why does it say? Asher you know lecha me'im Adonov? It should say me'im aviv. Me'am aviv, not me'im. Sorry, me'am aviv. What do you mean? No, me'im aviv. Hello, Rabbi Yisrael. We're talking about if you sell your slave to Chutzaretz. I'm telling you that you should not return him to his master. From among you, he was saved from among you. We're talking about he ran from Eretz Chutzaretz to Eretz Yisrael. It's not that you sold your slave to Chutzaretz. He ran to Eretz Yisrael. Should be if it's going to be from Eretz Yisrael to Chutzaretz, so shei meimcha. Rather from the fact that it says from Chutzaretz to Eretz Yisrael, it's talking about. That's why we say the lashon meim adonov. There's another brayso. Lisaske Evdal Adonov shouldn't return him to his master. If you buy him in order to free him, you have to free him. You cannot enslave him. What are we talking about? He wrote to him like this: when I'll acquire you, you're owned by yourself. His slave ran away to Veikutoi, to Chutzaretz, and Rav Chisda was in Bavli. Shalach lahu hadru anili. He sent to the people in Kutoi, return my slave to me. They said it says in the pasuk you're not supposed to return slaves who run away. He said you should. It's a lost item. He should not return a slave to his master. He sent to them. That's referring specifically to an Eved who ran away from Chutzaretz to Yisrael. Mishna the Shalach Luka the Rabachi Rabbi Yoshia. Mishum the Mashmalu Kroi, because that's the way they understood the Psukim. So Stafka sent to them that limud rather than Dafka sent to them based on the way you're loimed the psukim. He lost the donkey in Beikutoi. He sent to them, please send it to me. They sent to him, send a simon, tell us a sign. His stomach is white. It's not for you being Nachmani, the famous Nachmani. I wouldn't have sent to your donkey. All the donkeys have white stomachs, so it's not enough of a simon. It's not a simon muvak, but because you're a Nachmani, we're going to trust you. Okay, the Gemara goes weiter. We'll do one more Mishnah and then we'll stop. We're not going to do too much today because my father's not here. The Mishnah says, you don't redeem captive more than the value because of tikkun olam. And we also don't make them escape, help them escape because of tikkun olam. Because of the people who are captives, you don't want to do that. Okay, so the Gemara asks, what are we talking about? Is the reason that we don't redeem, we're talking about the first part of the Mishnah, that we don't redeem captives more than their value because it's very hard on the tzibur, it's very hard for the public, it's too much money, or maybe we're worried that the goyim are going to try to capture more people because we're paying a lot of money. So what's an afkamina? If it's because of the tzibur, so if a guy has a lot of money, then then he'll do it a private redemption. But if it's because of the goyim capturing more yidden, then you shouldn't be allowed. Tashma de Levi bar Darga parka labarte b'tleiser alfei din rezov. Levi, the son of Darga, was very wealthy. He redeemed his daughter for 13,000 golden dinner, an enormous amount. So the reason is obviously Dechad Ditzibura, and he did it. He did it because he had the money. Abai said, who said he did it with the Chachamim Rotzen? Maybe he did it against the Rotzen.
That seems so modern. There seems to be applications now. If a Jew gets, God forbid, is taken captive, let's say an Israeli government pays enormous amount.
Right.
Either they free a lot of non-Jewish prisoners, right, for one Jew, or
yeah. My benayu ike benayu deleke lachad. The difference is, what will be the difference? Deleke lachad shavoi. So we said in mavrichnas hashvum plei tikkun olam. Shimon Gamliel says plei takonas hashvuya. So we're talking about the second part. We don't smuggle them up because tikkun olam, and Shimon Gamliel says because it's takonas hashvuya. So what's the difference between them? By benayu ike benayu deleke lachad. If there's only one prisoner, according to the Tanakama, we're worried that they're gonna put them in irons, future prisoners. According to Shimon Gamliel, we're worried about the prisoners who are there now. So if there's only one prisoner, you could of course make him escape, help him escape. Very interesting. Tosfos points out that for your wife it doesn't apply. You could redeem her for any amount of money. And the Gemara, Tosfos brings to the Gemara later on, and Daf Ches, Rabbi Shimon Hanani paid a lot of money for Rabbi Shmuel, the Kohen Gadol. That was because he was very wise. It depends who it is, I guess. Depends who the person is.
Is that because we're afraid that they'll treat the captive with cruelty?
Yeah, so if there's only one captive, Rabbi Shimon would allow, but the Tanakama would not, because he's worried about future captives.
But it says in the Torah, doesn't it say in the Torah, with Lot, the case of Lot, that Abraham went to great lengths to free him from Sodom, right? So isn't it a Torah law that requires to free the hostages, to do whatever?
Why? Because of Sodom? Well, what's the story in Sodom?
Well, I forget what it was, but I think Lot was wanted to live there, but I have to.
You're saying that Avram went to war to free him. Interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. Pidyon Shvuim, I think, is a very important concept.
That's a very interesting question. That's a very good question.
Well, thank you.
That Avram went to war to free Lot. So maybe it's different if you're like a power, like with weapons and so on.
Oh, yes.
Go to war. Rather than if the goyim have control over us and it's just a monetary thing, then it'll just have repercussions for the future.
Yes.
But if you could smite the enemy, that might be a different story. And they'll learn their lesson. They're never going to dare to do such a thing again. It's like Israel with killing the whole Entebbe. That might be a different story.
Entebbe, I was just thinking of Entebbe. Are you old enough to remember Entebbe?
No. I just know historically.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's not history to me. I remember vividly.
The daughters of Rav Nachman were able to stir hot pots of soup with their hands, and the fire didn't hurt them. So it was like someone who saw it thought that they were tremendously wise. The problem was, Rav Vilish had a question. That there's one good amount among 1,000, but a woman, no. So it
says here because of their righteousness. That's why
he thought it was their righteousness. That's what Rashi. Yeah, that's Rashi. So he didn't understand how it's possible because even Isha b'cholei l'mitzasi, Rav Nachman. There's the daughters of Nachman. Garmalahu Milsa Vishtabyon. Vishtaboy Yunami Badai. Something happened and they were captured, and he was also captured among them.
And that's Rav Elish, right?
Rav Elish was captured. One day there was a person who knew the language of the birds. He knew the language of the birds, who was sitting with Rav Elish. Also, Orva of Kakarile, there was a raven, and who was calling out to him. Amalei, you told the person, my comer, what's this raven saying? Amalei Elish Brach, Elish Brach. He said the bird is telling you to run away. Amar Urva Shikrahu v'lei smichna alei. He said it's a raven. The raven's a liar. I'm not going to rely on him. Adhochi.
A lying raven.
A lying raven, yeah. Adhochi the yoina of a kokaria. Then the dove came. Amalei my comer, Amalei Elish Brach, Elish Brach. He's telling you to run away. The Yidden are considered like a yoina, shmamina misachashim. Nisa must be a miracle is going to happen to me. He said, I'm going to go look for the daughters of Rav Nachman. If they're still faithful, I'm going to return them. Omar, he said, I have to do it in Israel. Omar, I have to go. Omar Ezel Echzeb ben Benosid Rav Nachman. He can't be Messiah. Omar Nishikol Mile Diesel Southern La Dodi Beve Sakise. Anything that any secret matter they tell each other in the bathroom. That's very interesting. Maybe in the old times. Shaminu de Kamran. Hear them saying, Odai Guvrin, Benadai Guvrin. That our captors are our husbands, and we also had Yiddish husbands back then. Let's tell our captors to take us away from here so that people won't redeem us, because they were happy in their situation. They already had sunken into the slavery. Kom Orak, he ran away. Also, also, him and this person who understood the language of the birds were running away. Over B'mavr, he was able to cross water and they couldn't catch him. They killed the other guy. When they finally came back, when the daughters of Nachman finally came back, he said it was just sorcery. It wasn't really because they were holy, because he saw that their level of righteousness was on such a very high level.
Wow.
Okay, I think we'll stop for today.
Okay.
So, thank you very much.